It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Woo, baby! Nothing like a little Lou Reed on a Friday morning to set the tone. Gorman in the Morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. The weekend is upon us. Fletcher!
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I'll put them right back in. Ryder!
So if you meet here after school today, you only get one lick from each of us.
Oh, you know the way to a man's heart.
Well, it's open season all summer long, boys.
Open season all summer long. I just played that to try and make Steve cry.
Oh, my God. I truly, right up my spine, the goosebumps all over.
Yeah,
man,
dazed and confused. If school isn't out by today, stop going.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
No, you don't want to be like that TikTok mom.
That's exactly right.
Starting, June 6th? I will be that TikTok mom.
That's
Quit.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. You know what? Mine just got out yesterday, though, so it's.
I'm the only person I know who saw Dazed and Confused and thought it was a documentary. I was like, oh, that's my 8th grade life right there. It's right there. I didn't know they were filming us. All right, it is Friday. It is Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We are feeling Minnesota, so by God, Paul Fletcher, give me some headlines.
Oh, boy, here we go again. Another scam. State officials on Wednesday began warning Minnesotans not to fall for a new scam involving fake text messages claiming to be from the, quote, Minnesota Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, that sounds very legit, but that specific phrasing is not a department that exists.
Okay.
The fraudulent texts claim that you have an outstanding traffic ticket and threaten legal action, license suspension, and credit damage unless payment is made through a suspicious link. Those are all huge red flags. The actual Department of Vehicle Services isn't going to make threats like that. Before doing anything, remember to check the sender carefully, look for misspellings or strange domain names, never click on unfamiliar links, mark the text as spam and delete it without responding. Also, if you're concerned that it is actually real, head over to drive.mn.gov to verify it. They'll have a record of what you did there.
I treat everything like a phone call. If I don't already have your number in my phone, I'm not answering.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
I'm not opening a text. I'm just deleting emails left and right. I email half the emails Ryder sends me just to be double safe.
Yeah, I can tell.
That explains a lot. Yeah,
Sure does. Yeah.
How many unsolicited, unknown number calls do you guys get a day?
Every few months I get a flurry. Every time my information's broke, there's a data breach from somewhere. I'll get 10. At least now they say possible spam, but it doesn't matter. If I don't have the number in my phone, I'm not answering.
Yeah. If you're looking for something to do this weekend with the kids, without the kids, I recommend the 10th annual Chalk Fest in Maple Grove.
Okay.
It's set up on Main Street, features chalk art by more than 50 artists from here and all over the world, including the Ukraine, Turkey, Colombia, and more. They basically turn the street into an art gallery. It's a free event. The art's incredible. We've gone the last couple of years. That's why it jumped out to me. You've got all the food, drinks, street vendors you could ever want. Like I said, it's free.
Great thing to do if you're suffering from a case of pica. That's that condition where people eat chalk. Just saying.
I wouldn't recommend eating the chalk.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Don't be the person that's licking
if you've got that kind
the road.
of a nutritional deficiency and you're in town for the weekend, I'm just saying.
I'm saying don't go lick the road, though.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Get a lot of minerals that way.
That's true.
Right?
So many.
Okay.
Build up the immune system. Nick Jonas has been cast as Kiss singer, guitarist Paul Stanley in the upcoming biopic Shout It Out Loud. Jonas
Really?
will also do his own singing in the movie. What?
I'm just hilarious to think they're making a Kiss biopic.
Why not?
I mean,
I'd watch it.
Those are like character. It's kind of it's hard to. We've seen them for 50 years.
Yeah.
We know who they are. We know exactly.
For sure.
I mean, Nick Jonas. He's like a little guy, isn't he? Is
Paul
he?
Stanley's a little guy, isn't he?
Not that small. I don't know. Does he have is his chest as hairy as Paul's?
That I don't
Put
know.
those platform boots on, it doesn't matter.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Shout It Out Loud is going to focus on the formation and early days of Kiss, who formed in New York City in the early 70s. It's set to go into production at the end of this year or in early 2026 with a potential release date late 2026, early or 2027. So there you go. This is kind of funny, too. This might actually fit right into what you're talking about. The latest script for the film is being handled by screenwriter Darren Lemke, known for his work on Shrek Forever After, Goosebumps, and Kung Fu Panda 4.
Right on. Hey, they are cartoon characters after all.
Right.
I mean, go for it.
About a month ago, Amazon unveiled a new line of high-tech warehouse robots that feature a human-like sense of touch. Now, Amazon is testing humanoid robots that could be deployed to deliver packages right to your doorstep. So while Amazon has been using robots in its warehouses for a long time, this would be their first leap into sending robots out into the wild. I believe we have audio, don't we?
I will be unabashedly proud that we aim to eliminate every menial, mundane, and repetitive job out there. We want to eliminate that. And if it's repetitive, we want to automate that, because we will never run out of things to do for our employees. We want them to focus on higher level tasks. People are amazing at using common sense and reasoning and understanding complex problems. Like, why would you not use that?
Amazon's robotics chief technologist, his name, Ty Brady. Which is like the worst name since Blaine.
I hope we've all put on our BS detectors this morning. We'll never run out of things for our employees, except for jobs.
Right.
Your cap is $2 trillion, and you're still trying to eliminate jobs. Screw all he is.
He's this mundane, but you know what?
Please.
People need mundane jobs.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
It's just another reason why I can't stand Amazon.
I feel like this is going to go the way of some of the scooters near the U, and the robots are just going to get thrown off the Washington Avenue Bridge into the river.
Well, you know what? That would the first time I open my door and see a robot there, it's probably not going to end well for one of us. I don't know if I can take a robot down, but I'll probably try.
Maybe it'll be like the scooters too, where you just see like a pile of robots sitting on the corner of a street, just laying on top of each other.
Hey, man, head out to the Stone Arch Bridge on a summer night and see how many you can count in the river. It's great. I love that.
The 2025 Food Truck Extravaganza is returning, with more than 40 food trucks gathering at the Washington County Fairgrounds in Lake Elmo. This is going down next Saturday, June 14th. There's live music, a kid zone if you can't ditch your small humans, food from Matt's Bar. The Pronto Pup people are going to be there. Normally, that's just at the State Fairgrounds. Anytime I get my hands on a Pronto Pup. KCM Egg Roll and a bunch of others. And also, it's got a charitable aspect. It helps raise money for the Stillwater Chamber of Commerce's Scholarship Fund, which supports area students who are looking at any of those top three that you just named. They're going to garner absolutely no. It goes for those that are furthering their education, specifically in the trades. So,
Pronto Pup, that's the one that's not the cornbread. That's the other one, right?
Correct.
I'm learning slowly. I don't know. Pretty good, man.
I used to be a hardcore Pronto Pup person, but now I don't know. I'm not as divided about it as I used to be, or as decisive about it.
Just let your mood.
Ryder, which are you?
It's fried breading. It's all good.
Yeah, let your mood set the course.
Corn dog.
Someone offers you a corn dog or Pronto Pup, just eat it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say no. Do I look like a guy that said no to anything? Roger Waters' new This Is Not a Drill live from Prague, the movie, will be released in cinemas worldwide in July, with the soundtrack coming out in August. The film captures Waters' This Is Not a Drill tour at the O2 Arena in the Czech Republic on May 25th, 2023, featuring 20 classic Pink Floyd and solo songs from Roger. The soundtrack will be released on Legacy Recordings August 1st in various formats, all the stuff that you can think of, digital, LP, etc.
Sure.
Tickets for the movie will go on sale June 12th, and the performance includes a new song titled The Bar.
Okay.
That I didn't know about.
Oh.
I love Pink Floyd.
I'm still waiting for him to write a song where he goes, I'm just grumpy.
He could.
Yeah.
He could. He's probably got a few of those in his head.
I feel like grunge is taken already.
That's a very good point.
Tom Cruise set a Guinness World Record. What hasn't this guy done? For most burning parachute jumps by an individual while filming Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. He did it 16 times.
I just have to, and I know that, he doesn't jump into these things without a lot of research. He's got people around him, but can you imagine? I mean, what happens if Tom Cruise actually doing a stunt in a movie? Oops, sorry,
it's over, Johnny.
We lost Tom.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? There's an Instagram video going around of Matt Damon sitting and talking about Tom Cruise, and he says, "When I do a stunt, people tell me it can't be done." I'm like, "Okay, I trust you." Tom says, "Get another stunt director.
Get another guy."
It's just like he's unreal, man.
Fair enough.
Oh man, he's insane.
Let's talk sports quickly. Last night, the final of a 4-game stretch against the Athletics, David Festa gave up 8 runs in under 4 innings. Alcala surrendered a grand slam. Jonah Bride, an infielder for the Twins, pitched the last 2 innings.
Wow.
The Twins gave up a season-high number of runs, a season-high number of hits, a season-high number of home runs. But other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? The Twins dropped the game 14-3. But you know what? This was a grueling 10-game road trip. They went all over they went to Florida and out to the West Coast. They finished 5-5. All things considered, it could have gone a lot worse. So they're back home today against the Blue Jays for the weekend.
Yeah.
Let's turn it around, boys. The NBA Finals, quickly, the Indiana Pacers won a game last night they had no business winning. Statistical anomaly and then some, to say the very least. But that's great news for Thunders fans because they will not sleepwalk again. Indiana's a hell of a team, but this was a very rare self-inflicted Thunder loss. 2 days off now. The hell is coming for the Indiana Pacers. The Minnesota Frost lost Claire Thompson and Sophie Jacques to the Vancouver expansion team. I'm going to lean on you here. Probably a considerable loss for this team.
Absolutely. Claire Thompson, it crushes me to see her go. Taylor Heisey's pretty phenomenal, obviously. Protected her. Claire Thompson, in my eyes, may have been the second best player on this team. Well, I don't know why she wasn't protected, but those I mean, deciding those players is nearly impossible.
The league's got to grow. It's a good sign
100%.
for the long term in the big picture. And then finally, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron. Look out, Pittsburgh. Boy, if there's a chalk and cheese, oil and water combo more than Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Aaron Rodgers, I'd like to hear what it is. He has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Steelers. He's 41 years old. And fun fact, he sucks now, too. So I don't know what – I mean, it's just a Band-Aid. I don't think anybody expects this to go on for very long. I mean, the Steelers have been adrift since Big Ben's not since his retirement. His last few years, he was sucking gas. This will be their 5th different Week 1 starter in 5 seasons. The Steelers are a mess, and Aaron Rodgers, the last guy I think about calling when you have a mess. But we'll see.
That's a very good call.
If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. But boy, oh boy, I got a feeling there's a whole lot of Pittsburgh fans waking up today and just starting to talk themselves into some nonsense.
Oh boy, yeah. And we already know what Terry Bradshaw thinks.
Yes, we most certainly do. Hey, I would like to just take a moment and just tip the cap to Waverly, Minnesota.
That's a good spot.
Come on, Waverly.
Yeah.
On 12?
I'll give you a wave.
All right.
A little wave for Waverly. We're early morning folk around here. Okay, there's 3 of us. We get in at the crack of dawn, and I'd like to think that we're all pretty good at mornings around here. I mean, we have to be. We don't have a choice.
Some of us are.
Or we fake it.
Yeah.
We fake it really well.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If the 3 of us, if one of us is bad at mornings around here, then we're lower than the national average. Apparently, 2 out of every 5 real bad at mornings.
That's
2
it?
of every 5.
That's it?
That's it. That makes no sense to me. I think this warrants a further discussion.
Yeah, straighten it out.
Especially as it is, good God almighty, 6:07 a.m. and I've been up for hours.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Axl Rose, not a guy I think of as a morning person. I don't know him, but I don't imagine he's good in the mornings.
I bet he's seen a lot of sunrises from staying up from the night before.
I'm sure he has. And God bless him. If you can get into your 60s and still not deal with morning, you've won the game.
Yeah.
Pretty much. About 2 of every 5 Americans say they are, quote, bad at mornings.
Okay.
What that means is the average person gets out of bed later than they planned 8 to 10 times a month. For about 10% of us, it's 20 times a month.
Wow.
That's extreme, even for me.
3 out of 5 Americans are liars.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Do you, Ryder, are you still awakened by your alarm, or do you pop up now generally Monday through Friday without the use of an alarm?
No, I get out of bed at 3:16 is when my last alarm goes off. So, yeah, I definitely need some help waking up. I set 2 alarms on my phone and then 2 on a little buzzer alarm.
No kidding.
Hopefully I kill those 2, but they're like my emergency.
Wow. And I know Fletcher, you're a snooze button guy. You have no problem just hitting the snooze button.
No, not for this. I mean, I would hit snooze in the past.
Okay.
When I, didn't have to be up at a hard time.
Right.
But my alarm right now is set for the minute I need to get up, and I get up. I don't mess around.
Right on.
Are you going with
I have to.
Are you going with the Chauncey alarm, Steve?
Well, that's a part of it, but it's also, but now I've gotten, he jumped on my schedule and now I've jumped on his, is how it works. I have an alarm set, and it rarely, and I'm not exaggerating, 1 of every 20 days I hear it.
Okay.
And it's usually because when I wake up, I forget to turn it off. I can't remember the last time that my alarm legitimately woke me up. I just the dog has cursed me. I pop up the minute he starts to stir.
Good night sleeps and bad night sleeps?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, huh? Wow.
No, it doesn't matter.
I'm envious of that because when I don't sleep well, then I don't generally need the alarm because I'm already up, whatever. But like this morning, or the last night, I actually got a good night's sleep, and I needed it for sure.
No, if I'm still asleep at like 3:45, what am I supposed to do with all that morning anxiety?
Bring it here.
I wish that were a joke.
Bring it to
I really
us.
do. It's problematic. What can I tell you? My kids are both, well, I got one out of college. I got one with a semester to go. And they're launching themselves into the world. There's a list from Forbes of the lowest paying college degrees right out of school in the year 2025. If you know somebody who's graduating with one of these degrees, just, put an extra 50 on that Venmo graduation card. Why don't you?
If you know somebody who's graduating high school, warn them about this stuff.
Even better. You know what?
Go to the grad party and say, listen to this list I got.
All right, so I'm curious, just generally speaking, what you guys think these might be. I'll go ahead and give you the 10th worst job right now, 10th worst degree. Okay. Theology and or religion. Just anybody studying theology or religion, where are you going to take that? I guess to Starbucks.
I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
I mean, because religion's generally, recession-proof, and there's always a need for it, et cetera, et cetera.
But it only pays if you get that satin suit,
That's true.
and you got to get a TV show, and you got to. I mean, if it's just theology and religion generally, I don't mean if you're going to go out there and be a preacher man. I'm just saying, if you're the guy who can explain the difference between, well, the things where the Sunni and the Shia went all, if you're going to dive into the different sects in Mormonism and then turn it into Taoism and Buddhism, it's fascinating stuff, but no one's going to pay you.
That feels like one where you need to go to school for like 10 to 12 years and get some kind of professor thing going.
Right. Yeah, that's
you got to be teaching to make money off of that.
That's exactly right. You're just going to have to teach. Mm-hmm. When I got out of college in the I dropped out, but when I was in college in the 80s, there was a real thing about back then. People would say, well, your goal is to always make your age. Like when you get out of college, if you're 22, you want to be making 22 grand.
Oh, that ain't
working
no more.
No, nowhere near working anymore. But there was a time when it was like, I am 23 years old and I am making 23 grand and look out.
Yeah.
There was a time.
Man.
Hey, Andy Rooney.
Those are the good old days. Right now, that number's like 40. Like if you're bottoming out, if you're making 40 grand with a full-time job out of college with a degree, that's around where these jobs are. Right. Around 40-ish.
Okay.
Around 40-ish?
Yeah.
I need to have a discussion with our boss.
I don't see radio on the list.
No.
No. And we'll throw a dart. What do you think, Ryder?
I got stuck because I was late to get my dorm stuff in for the U, so I got stuck with all the arts kids. Okay. And my roommate was really cool. Her name was Jen Rand. She was a theater major. She did an impression of me. It was great. But everybody else was just freaking loopy. So I'm gonna go with dance. If you're getting a degree in dance, you are wasting your time. And you, my friend, are very, very insightful. Performing arts, number 3 on the list of top 10 worst things to have a degree in right now. Boom. Yeah, we're not really, we're not subsidizing the arts like they do in those radical Scandinavian countries. No, you just learn how to hold your own in the pit, and then I think that you should go get a degree in something else. Yeah, that's exactly right. No, well, we do have a lot of very successful performing arts graduates. They're called baristas. and they're working all over town. That's an art. It is an art. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think those should be like the liberal arts or the writing majors, because then you put something real clever and snarky on that tip jar. Mm-hmm. Watch that cash flow. That's very true. Tipping is not a city in China. That was always my favorite. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tom Cruise proved to us, too, that mixing drinks is an art form, too. So that's another performing arts. Yeah. Can be. You got to keep that trunk in shape, though. Got to really, work on that six-pack. And I don't mean the ones you're serving your friends. Another one on here, sadly, early childhood education. Very, very poorly paid. What's more important? I mean, come on. Early childhood education. So is that under 6? Is that before junior high, or is that before school at all? We're talking like preschool. I think that's preschool. That's preschool. It's the building blocks era of childhood education. That's pre-K is what that is. Yeah, that's what my wife's degree is in. If I spent one 8-hour day in a room with 21 5-year-olds, I would expect $1 billion. You think so? Yeah.
We've already discussed that your friends who have performing arts degrees are probably, at best baristas right now. Sorry, the worst paying college degrees right out of school. General social sciences. This is the sort of things that lead you to be a youth counselor or a teacher's aide. Again, if you're here to help the kids, we're not going to give you much money.
There's a degree for that?
Yeah, man. General social sciences. Okay. Come on. Also, of course, then there's also social services. If you know a social worker, then you know that they are doing the Lord's work and not getting paid for it.
Yeah, Mom was a retired social worker. Some of them are union, though, so you start out real low and it builds up over time.
Yeah, for sure, which is good. But when you look at someone, like, if you talk to somebody who, let's say, their life is spent helping people get health care, helping people make sure they're not being, fleeced on their prescriptions. It's such thankless work. You're saving and improving lives, and for so little reward. And that's not why people do that. Yeah. I mean, they're the people who'd say, like, no, this is more like a calling than anything. Right. And I look at those people and just think, man, if I could, I'd just... Give me Amazon for a day, and I'll cut some checks to some social workers.
Yeah. Right. It's just paperwork after paperwork after paperwork for like a little victory.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But the number one, topping the list, worst performing college degree right out of school financially, a degree in a foreign language.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Do we think this is because of Google Translate?
It's gotta have something to do with it.
Okay.
What are you majoring in? French. Okay, then.
Unless you've got a very specific path or a very specific vision idea in your mind, you're probably, who's even using that?
My wife had a friend from high school. They were in the French club together. They took the school trip to France when they were like going into their senior year.
Okay.
This is from Birmingham, Alabama, right? And so Rosemary and her buddy Jill, they were the two, they just were obsessed with French and all things France. Her friend Jill got so obsessed with France that she, after college, after majoring in French, just moved to Paris. Like, that's it. I'm going.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of people from Alabama who think I'm going somewhere. But she chose France, and she got there. And I met her sometime in the early 90s on tour, and Rosemary came over. And then I was like, wow, this is this person I've heard about. And back then, you didn't keep up. You just wrote letters or postcards.
Right.
And Rosemary was like, I got in touch with her. I called her mom. I got her number, so she's going to come to the show. I said, great. I said, what does she do? And Rosemary goes, I have no idea. For all I know, she's like working in a bakery somewhere. I mean, I've always worried about her.
Right.
What was she doing? She was Jacques Cousteau's personal assistant.
No.
What?
That's so cool.
And I was like, so, Jill, what are you doing? Oh, I work with she called it the commander, the commodore. So I work with the captain or whatever. I go, what captain would that be? Oh, sorry. Well, Jacques Cousteau, you probably heard of him. And I was like, okay, yeah, right. I thought it was shtick. No, I was like, so you're the one person who got a degree in French and made it work for you.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. I was like, how useless
odds.
is that degree if you move to France where everyone speaks the language? But I guess she cashed in.
It was, man, no kidding. I just remember thinking like, boy, the 9-year-old me would really be excited about this right now.
92 KQRS.
Tom Petty learning to fly. Tom had a couple tunes. I'll give him credit. I've heard them all a few times, and they still sound pretty fresh to my ears.
Like 3.
Yeah, he's doing all right for himself.
I feel like real easy to karaoke to as well. Was my number one thought right there.
Really? All right. Well, then you got plans for Friday, June 20th on the karaoke cruise.
I need a group thing though.
No, you should go solo.
The Black Crowes in 1991 played a gig in Tucson, Arizona, and I walked off stage after the set, and standing on the side of the stage, there was Tom Petty. And I was like,
oh, nice.
I was like, holy crap, that's Tom Petty. And I walked past him, and he was like, sounds good, man. I was like, thanks, man. And I was like, as if I didn't understand, as if he didn't know how encores worked. I was like, we'll be right back. Because I was like, I wanted to say hi and talk to him. And then we came back to the side of the stage to go out and play the encore. And then during the encore, he left. So,
really?
because I was like, cool. Because during the whole encore, this is what I was thinking. Hey, we're playing this song, but I'm going to talk to Tom Petty after the show. I'm going to talk to, and Mike Campbell's there too, and Stan Lynch. Oh my God, I'm going to talk to all the Heartbreakers. And then they were gone.
Oh, no.
Because that's the rock star move. You got to get out of there before the crowd. You don't want to get stuck in traffic.
But you said you would be right back.
But the whole point was this. They were shooting the video for Learning to Fly in Arizona. That's why they were there. If you remember the desert, the airplanes, that's what was going on. Mm-hmm. And when we saw the video later, I was like, that's when I almost hung out with Tom Petty. So anyway, it's still a sore subject.
I'm so sorry.
Man, I told him we'd be there. Just wait 5 minutes. Hey,
so does that make you thumbs down on encores then? Like that one incident?
Just makes me crazy. We need to pick that back up. You know, are we down with encores or are we up with encores? But first things first, because I did mention this, and I just think we need to give this a quick minute. Okay. The New York Times has a story on how using the bathroom just in case, as in you're getting ready to go out, and you don't have to pee, but you think, well, let me just go ahead and do it just to be safe.
Right.
Especially with kids, like road trip with the family, you're going to jump in the car. And if you're a dad like me, you immediately look at your GPS. You go, okay, it's 3.5 hours. We don't need gas. We're not stopping. I mean, I'm always trying to beat the GPS. It's my life's greatest goal. And so you tell your kids, hit the bathroom just to be safe. Urologists are saying, hey, stop doing that. Once you start doing that, once you raise kids to pee just in case, their bladder starts to tell the brain that you need to pee even when you don't really need to. The average adult bladder can hold 2 to 3 cups of urine. But if you are one of those people who always pees just in case, your brain's going to get the signal way ahead of time. Right. Long story short, suck it up, Buttercup. Learn how to hold your pee. It's better for your long-term bladder and mental health.
Remember when they told us with cell phones, make sure you kill it before you charge it back up again?
Yeah.
Don't charge it at 30% or you're going to train your battery to have a shorter life. Yeah. Same thing. You're training your bladder to not hold 24 ounces. You're training it to hold like 16.
And by the way, going when you don't really need to, it causes you to strain. That can weaken your pelvic floor muscles, which I don't even like to think about what those are.
That's like core, I think. That sounds like core muscles.
Could be. Because
it's in that core area.
But the main thing is just knock it off right now. Strengthen that bladder control. And by the way, not a problem with me as a kid. My parents
never stopped.
Oh my God! If you're like, I gotta pee, they'd be like, well,
here's a jar.
Hey, no, it wouldn't be that at all. It would just be, we'll hold it.
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
We'll get there eventually, but. Road trips, it's like when we were a rest area family, not a pull off the highway and go to McDonald's family.
Yep.
Because we packed sandwiches and did the whole thing. You know, we were fully self-contained. 100%. And it would be like, well, if someone said I have to pee, the answer was always there's a rest area in 67 miles or whatever the number was. My parents always knew where the next rest area was, and they would tell you. And sometimes you'd be like, okay, we can pull over, but it's 41 miles. And you just sit there like, holy crap.
You were a very refined family. We packed the lunches as well, but we peed in ditches.
Oh, very nice.
I mean, that's like, there was no rest area. You just peed in ditches driving to northern Minnesota.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
Yeah. That doesn't fly on the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
I hated that. I mean, Dad would look for a bush that we could hide behind, thankfully, but...
Very courteous.
Yeah, you get over the stage fright really quickly when there's cars humming by you about 65 miles an hour and you got to get it out of your system.
Yeah, no, we were all about the rest areas, man.
Yeah.
And my mom would just, if it was her driving on her own, we would pack a cot and she would unfold it and she'd take a little 20-minute power nap right there next to the car in the rest area.
Nice.
I mean, that's a different time, boy.
That's smart.
I mean, it's like she somehow got through life without being terrified about serial killers. I don't know how that happened.
It sounds like she was an innovator to me.
The 70s were lit. So anyway, yeah, so Tom Petty blew off my suggestion that we hang after the encore. A lot of things go awry with the encores. Do we like encores? Are we happy with them? Should the band just play the set and get on with it? What do you think? 651-989-ROCK. Billy Idol's on tour this summer. I imagine if you go see him, he's going to play his set, and then he's going to, you've been great tonight. Thanks so much for coming. See you next time. And then he's going to walk off stage, and then everyone's going to cheer and hold their lighters up, and then he'll come out and go.
Are they going to cry for more?
That's exactly what they're going to do, Ryder. And then he's going to come out and say, all right, then. Here's what you got. Here's what wedding for you. Bow. And then everyone's excited because the encore is the highlight of the night, or is it? Have we lapped ourselves? Is it time for the encore to go the way of the dodo? 651-989-ROCK. Have you ever been at a gig where the encore either completely blew your mind in a good way or in a bad way? Was the encore like, have you ever been to a show where you were like, this has been amazing, and then the encore just kind of ruined it for you? I'm curious.
There was a stretch of shows, and it was shortly after Prince died, where it was like every band who came to town did a Prince song as their encore.
Right.
And maybe the first couple of times it was cool, but I mean, I haven't moved. I have been here for the last 2 years listening to every band do Purple Rain as their encore.
Oof.
So let's mix it up, people.
Yeah. I remember right when he died, I have my friends there's a band called the Band of Heathens, great band from Austin, Texas, and they played Purple Rain, but they opened with it.
Okay, that's a little
makes
bit
more
different.
sense.
Yeah.
It's like, this is gonna be a different mood than you're expecting, and we're gonna knock this out for 6 minutes, and then you'll get what you came for.
Sure.
I like that. REM was the kind of band that would, when I saw them in the 80s. Now 90s REM, when they were like an arena and stadium act, I missed that. I was busy. The 80s REM, clubs and theaters, that's when I was an REM obsessive fan. And they would do two things that I always thought were cool. They would open sometimes with a cover, and it would be like a very slow song. Like, I saw them open with Lou Reed's Pale Blue Eyes once.
Oh, really?
Like, it's like, hey, we're going real slow out of the gate.
Yeah.
And it would it's a way of grabbing the room's attention. You know, when someone walks in a room and they talk really quietly, you notice sometimes it's like everyone shuts up. Mm-hmm. It was kind of that vibe, and then they would kick it off. But then their encores were always also more like for them. The encore was like, we're going to play some covers. We're going to play a B-side. They wouldn't save the hit for the encore ever. It was like a mini set, just more to scratch an itch. And then when I got into a touring band, the Black Crowes, we treated our encores like that too for a while. We would throw out a weird cover or do a song we didn't do often. And I would be sitting there at the kit watching the crowd like, they don't love it so much. They'd be like, you really should have put Remedy here, not at the end of the set. What the hell's wrong with you guys? So I get both sides of it. But when I'm at a gig now, if I'm watching a gig, if I make it to the encore, I feel I'm impressed with myself. I'm old. I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
And it's a lot of times if they knock the songs that you're there to hear out ahead of time, the encore can be a great way to beat traffic.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate the bands that do that. They're saying, okay, you want the big ones, we'll give them to you, and then the diehards that stay and get obsessed with the rare B-side or the cover tune in the encore, that's good for everybody. I like scratching all the various itches.
That is the way to do an encore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't save if you've got, let's say you got 3, don't save 2 of them for the encore. Knock them out earlier, and then let the encore be for the hardcore fans. Like, give it something special, if you
more than the rock world. Country artists are absolutely all about the customer is right, generally speaking. Right. You know, the country, it's all about do what they want when they want it.
100%.
That's how that entire format works in the world.
Yep.
They are robot hamster wheel, Megatron. Everybody does the same script. Jason Aldean is one of those ginormous country stars who sounds like every other ginormous country star to me. Jason Aldean was talking about this very thing the other day.
I'm not a big encore guy. I feel like I hate when artists kind of bait them into that. It's like, oh, I'm not going to play one of my biggest songs so that you guys cheer when I'm done for me to come back out and do this, right? Like, and I always tell them, listen, I'm going to just play you guys everything we got, and when it's over, right? Like, that's it. I'm not going to go off stage for 5 minutes and wait for you guys to cheer for me to come back out. Like, let's just play everything we got.
So if you
leave the stage, it's done.
If you got a partner who's into country music and you have to go to that Jason Aldean show at XL in the fall, be prepared for no encore.
That's right.
Guessing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I hear that, and this is all I think. Well, Jason Aldean doesn't do drugs. He doesn't need a top off to get through the end of the night.
He's got reasons.
Good for him. Encores, thumbs up or down, 651-989-ROCK. Are they still good? Do they still have a place in the modern concert experience? I mean, the answer is obviously yes, because everybody still does them, or most people do.
Some people have stopped, though.
That's true. Well, there seems to be. It's like a little whack-a-mole. There's raising up and hoping not to get hammered down. Maybe we'll just, like we heard that Jason Aldean guy say, like, no, we just play it straight through and then leave. Our buddy Hummus Bob just texted in. Best encore was at Paisley Park. One of many times seeing Prince. He did a 2-hour set. And then he said he was having fun with the crowd. He likes the vibe. And he said, meet me at the Chanhassen Theater at 1 a.m. And then we all went in and watched the new James Bond movie with Prince and 500 fans. That's an encore.
That is an encore. Wow.
The comedian Steve Martin, who you may have a passing familiarity with, when he was still doing stand-up comedy.
Is he a wild and crazy guy?
He is. He still is. In his book, which is called Born Standing Up, which is a fantastic autobiography, he tells the story of when he was putting the comedy act together. He struggled for years, and then all of a sudden, like in 1974 and 5, it made sense.
Okay.
And audiences caught up to what he was trying to do, or vice versa.
Okay.
But he was playing a gig. It happened to be at a club in Nashville. Like the First Avenue of Nashville is a place called the Exit Inn. It's been there forever. Okay. Legendary rock club. Yeah. Well, Steve Martin appeared there. And after the set, the people were still hanging out. He was getting ready to finish, and it was just one of those wild nights when everything clicked. And he said, "You guys have been so great. I want to buy everybody a cheeseburger." And he walked the entire club down the street, and they went to a Crystal Burger, which is like White Castle, and he just bought burgers for everybody. And they all hung out in the parking lot for like an hour. And like, it's a funny thing, but like it just, like that was at the time groundbreaking. Like, because it's like, who else would do that? What a crazy idea. And then it worked. But sometimes the great inspirations. I saw Prince at Paisley Park in 1994, and it was a late night show. It was during the NBA All-Star Game, and I've talked about going to see him and just how amazing this show was.
Yes.
But the craziest thing was the encore. So he played from like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. That in itself was pretty extraordinary. It was a late night, early morning gig. The band wraps it up. They walk off stage, and then it takes a long time for everybody to filter out and leave because the party's winding down. And at about 4:30 a.m. from the soundstage, suddenly there was some noise again. Like everybody had left or was milling around and trying to find rides, etc. And all of a sudden on stage, there's Prince, and he's flanked by 4 women, 2 on either side of him, and they're all wearing choir robes, and they did an a cappella set of gospel for 40 minutes.
Oh, geez.
And at no point did he acknowledge the audience. He didn't say. They just sang. And between songs, the people that were still there, we all ran back in like, what is happening? Yes. And everyone's like cheering, and then it's kind of weird to cheer for, like, it was almost like we were at church. Yeah. And so by the time they finished, people really weren't cheering, but everybody just sat there stunned listening to this. And then they all just turned around and walked away. Like, with no acknowledgement. It was just like, now that's an encore. That's an encore worth waiting till 4:30 to get.
So here's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
We don't have to have a rule necessarily whether or not the encore should or shouldn't be there anymore. Here's what we need. It needs to be more spontaneous.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, do it.
Everything that we have just encapsulated has been, every one of it has been super spontaneous.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we need. We need to get back to the day when an encore was a bit more spontaneous and not as calculated. And because you've got setlist.com now, you can see exactly what these bands are playing.
Yep.
If it's the same thing every night, then just wrap up the show, man. Don't do an encore.
Just for the proof, we need to kill the internet.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Hey, if it hasn't occurred to you yet, it's Friday.
Oh, my God. Thank you.
The morning is upon us. It is Friday, June the 6th, which means on this day in 1944, we dished out a little corn over in Normandy.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah, we did.
Wow, yeah, you.
And I will still say this. If anybody ever finds themselves in the north of France, do make sure you go to the beaches at Normandy and go stand there and go look at that and be filled with absolute awe and disbelief, because that is the only thing you will feel. It's unimaginable what we did that day and what all of those soldiers put themselves through and the consequences that continue to reverberate, of course, 80 years later. D-Day is really something, man. You can't get enough D-Day for my day.
Yeah. You can watch all the movies you want. There's nothing like being there.
Go there and just breathe it in, man. And also, oh, by the way, if you want a French person to be nice to you, go to Normandy, because they still are like, are you American? How about I cook you a meal?
Sure.
It really is. Sure. It really is a pretty special thing. And I know it always sounds trite to say stuff like that, but it's really true. They have not forgotten for 1 second what the Allies did for the France on this day in 1944. So there you have it. Let's get into some headlines. Paul Fletcher, what's happening out there?
State officials on Wednesday began warning Minnesotans not to fall for, we've got another new scam involving fake text messaging. This one claims to be from the Minnesota Department of Motor Vehicles. Thing about that is that department doesn't exist. The fraudulent texts claim you have an outstanding traffic ticket and threaten legal action, license suspension, and credit damage unless you make a payment through a suspicious link and do it ASAP, of course.
Damn.
Those are all huge red flags. The actual Department of Vehicle Services, that's what they're really called, they're not going to send you threats like that. They're not going to tell you, we're going to suspend your license, or, et cetera. It's never like, they don't put the fear of God in you to make a payment that day. All right. So before doing anything, remember to check the sender carefully. Misspellings, strange domain names, stuff like that. Don't click on unfamiliar links. Mark the text as spam and delete it without responding. Also, if you think it is actually real, go to drive.mn.gov and verify it. They'll have a record of your transgressions, if you will.
Got it.
All right, very good. Moving on. If you're looking for something to do with the kids maybe this weekend, or not with the kids, I recommend the 10th annual Chalk Fest in Maple Grove. This thing's really, really cool. It's set up on their main street in Maple Grove. It features chalk art by more than 50 artists from here and all over the world. They've basically turned the street into an art gallery. You got artists from Ukraine, Turkey, Colombia. It's a free event. The art's incredible. All the food and drinks you could want. And, it's just a good time.
Yeah, that works. Where is that?
That's Maple Grove.
Maple Grove.
Maple Grove's main street.
Main Street. I can remember all that.
Main Street, Maple Grove.
Yeah.
Main Street, Maple Grove.
Man.
Just say it a few times and you'll remember it forever.
I got you.
Yesterday marked a pretty significant day yesterday. We kind of missed it, so I thought I'd touch on it. Yesterday marked the 40th anniversary of a landmark moment in rock history, the first ever live gig for the Talking Heads. The band, consisting of David Byrne, Tina Weymouth, and Chris France, made their live debut at the legendary CBGB Club in New York City on June 5th, 1975. They opened for the Ramones. Set list included Psycho Killer, Girls Wanna Be with Girls, and I Wanna Live. A couple other notes. Guitarist Jerry Harrison joined Talking Heads in 1977, and their commercial breakthrough came, of course, in 1983 with Burning Down the House.
That's pretty amazing. First gig in 75, and their apex is only 8 years later. I mean, that's it felt long at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I probably heard of them first in 77 or 78, and by the time Burning Down the House hit, I was like, they've been trying forever. And it's like, man, that's fast. I mean, they were a decade and done, really. After 85, they never toured again after 83. The movie, Stop Making Sense.
Yeah.
The greatest concert film of all time. That was it. It's incredible.
And shout out to Jade, had that totally covered last night after 6 o'clock. So
I did notice that.
She very much has our back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, nice work by her, for sure. The breaking KQRS at 6 o'clock is something that's definitely worth checking out.
It's fantastic.
She basically, her motto is, I'm going to play music that hour that might get me fired.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
It's an hour well worth listening to.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of my power walking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That.
I'm walking around with Jade every day at 6.
Nice work. About a month ago, Amazon unveiled a new line of high-tech warehouse robots that feature a human-like sense of touch. Now, Amazon is testing humanoid robots that could be deployed to deliver packages right to your doorstep. So while Amazon has been using robots in its warehouse for a long time, this would be their first big leap into sending robots out into the wild. I used to laugh at people that said, we're just like Terminator, man. Like Now I'm like, no, you're onto something.
Okay, every time I see some celebrity who's doing a carbon offset, they're using their private plane, so then they donate to, they plant 1,000 trees or something. Sure. And I think to myself, whatever. You know what? Every robot Amazon uses, you should hire a human for. Every time you put a robot to use, hire at least one other person. Or look at how much work the robot does and figure out how many people it takes and hire that many more people too, just to balance the decks. You're worth $2 trillion. You don't need robots coming to my front door.
I don't want a robot coming to my front door.
I don't either.
I'm going to we don't hardly use Amazon for ordering anyway. Now I'm definitely, if there's a chance of robots showing up at my door, no, I'll just go to down the street.
Maybe I could steal the robot and make it perform tasks for me, though. Like calling balls and strikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're right around the corner from finally removing humanity from human beings. That's going to be great, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's a good call.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? The Twins got a 3-game home series with the Blue Jays kicking off tonight. They had a pretty good road trip. 10 games, they went 5-5, but remember they were down in Tampa playing in a minor league park, and then they went out to Seattle, and then they went to West Sacramento to play in a minor league park. I mean, as far as road trips go, Florida to California with Washington State in the middle and a bunch of rinky-dink settings to play in. It's a weird road trip. I think 5-5, you got to just take it and say, okay, thank God it's over. They lost last night to the A's. The pitching staff was just beat up. We had an infielder, Jonah Bride, pitching the final 2 innings, just to let you know where the arms are. But hopefully they got some rest on that overnight flight back for today's game. Yowza.
Well, when you're getting blown out, that's what you do. You put an infielder or an outfielder into pitch and don't waste your other arms.
The NBA Finals kicked off last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder, a massive favorite to win this series over the Pacers, and they still are, even though the Pacers somehow won that game last night. A really bizarre game where the Thunder did everything right except win the game. The Pacers, I still don't feel like this is going beyond 5 games. I think the Thunder are going to beat them 4 straight now. Right. Now that they're pissed off, I would expect to see that.
Okay, fair enough.
And based on other predictions I've made in my life, look for the Pacers in 6. Aaron Rodgers,
right through the NBA final or through the playoffs, though.
Aaron Rodgers is a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers now. Go figure.
Yikes!
I mean, the Pittsburgh's got to do something. They don't have their quarterback room is pretty rough right now. So I said earlier they drafted Will Howard in the 6th round of this year. The Cleveland drafted Shedeur Sanders. I don't know why. I got in my thoughts, I was racing to say Pittsburgh should have taken Shedeur Sanders, and then I just went ahead and said they did. Yeah. I know full well he's in Cleveland. But with Will Howard and Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson, suddenly you go, we probably could use Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, it's an indication of where the Steelers are more than what Aaron Rodgers has left in the tank.
I tell you, when you look at those other 3 quarterbacks, you go, who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It makes some sense.
Let's see. How about this? How about Ham Lake, Minnesota? Can we just take a moment?
Damn straight.
What's up, Ham Lake?
Drag racing in Ham Lake.
Yeah, man. It's all about the drag racing. Every time I'm in Ham Lake, man, I'm trading pink slips out there, man. I'm doing my thing.
How could you not?
Hey,
That's all there is.
Really quick, at 92KQRS on the Instagram machine on our story, if you want to see the video that goes with the audio from the Tom Cruise flaming parachute.
Sure.
I just put it up, so you can go check it out there.
Got it. Fair enough.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92KQRS. It's wedding season, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's going to go on for freaking ever.
Yeah, it is. Over there on Main Street, right there on the river, right over part of town where I live. Man, every weekend, just the wedding photographs being taken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's senior pictures. They start around August, and then they somehow continue all year long. But then, man, the weddings every weekend now, man. Saturdays and Sundays, Fridays even. Brides and groom, beautiful women in their wedding dresses and their bridesmaids out there, and they're just praying for sunny days. But man, they're just happening left and right and center. Today's Bargument brought to you by Bad Music. What wedding song? Let's talk about what songs should be banned from wedding receptions. What have we heard enough of? What do we never need to hear again? 651-989-ROCK. Plenty of text messages flying in already.
Real quick question first. What was the music situation at your guys' wedding reception? Steve, did you even have one? Because I know you did a beach thing.
We did technically an island thing.
Yeah.
So it was a getaway. We just blew town and we got married. The music was a very small wedding. It was me and Rosemary and 5 other people, and we just we danced to These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding. Okay. On the old, on the stereo.
Beauty.
Just played music like that. It was a very low, very, very low key affair. Fletcher, what about you?
We had 150 people, something like that.
Pretty big.
Yeah, not too bad. But the ones the biggest things that stick out to me, we had a classic DJ situation. But the thing that I will always remember is the first 3 songs. Our First Dance, then the mother-son, father-daughter dances. Uh-huh. We had a friend of mine who was a singer-songwriter in Arizona named Nate Stone that came in, and it worked out that he was able to come in. He actually had a song that was not well known at all called With You that just resonated and connected with my wife and I. Okay. And it kind of became our song the year that we were getting married, and so it was cool that it worked out. He was able to come in, and so he did that song live in front of us.
Really nice.
And then knocked out a couple covers for the other dances. So that was really cool.
Ryder, what happened with you guys?
We got a keg and a room at the Eagles Club, so it was like a real cheap deal. Mr. Ryder just put together a ridiculously long playlist. Some of my friends who were coming to the wedding are like, wedding people, they want to hear like Britney Spears and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, you're not going to be pleased.
Very nice.
It's just going to be weird punk music.
To get into the Bargument.
Yeah.
Where do you the first question that popped into my head when we brought this up? Where do you guys stand on the group dancing, the group choreographed line dances and whatnot at wedding receptions?
Oh, that's my number one answer is I don't know what song it is, Electric Slide or whatever, but let's ban anything where people are trying to do some line dancing.
Yeah, the Electric Boogie, the Cupid Shuffle, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Cotton Eye Joe. Cotton Eye Joe's the first one for me that goes bye-bye.
I haven't done a dance in a group setting where everybody had the same moves since like Heat Wave had hit songs, and I was in 7th grade. So the answer is like, yeah, I don't care. Like, go play what you want. Don't think I'm getting up there and doing that crap.
I will do a YMCA.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah,
all right, that works.
What about the cha-cha slide? I want to see Ryder do the cha-cha slide.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, you having a singer-songwriter come in and play your wedding, it reminds me. Stereophonics, a Welsh band. I did a tour with them 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But the singer, Kelly Jones, great guy. Wayne Rooney is a soccer player, an English legend who then played in the MLS and coached in the MLS. But he is one of the great English soccer players of all time. And he grew up in his favorite band was Stereophonics. And so when I was with them, I met Wayne Rooney when he was 16 years old. He was just on his way up.
Legendary midfielder.
At a gig in Newcastle. In Manchester. So anyway, years later, when Wayne Rooney got married, his wife contacted Kelly and said, would you show up at our reception in Italy to surprise Wayne and sing a few of your songs? And Kelly was like, yeah, sure. And then she said, I'll send the plane and I'll pay you an enormous amount of money. And he's like, of course I'll do it. So anyway, he flies into Italy and he's the big surprise guest. And Stereophonics over there, they're a huge band. And he turns up, and then Wayne asked him to sing a song called Too Many Sandwiches, which is on their first album, and it's about a drunken, riotous wedding reception in Wales. It's a true story. But I'm just, so at the wedding, he was sang a song, and here are just some of the lyrics. The band arrives, the grannies cry, the singer's tongue shoved down the barmaid's mouth. What a voice. Grandpa drunk a drop or two, his head is still stuck in the portaloo. What a man. You bought a sequin dress to eat your chicken breast. The disco's late and he's overpaid tonight. It just goes on and on about just the worst. And that's what Wayne Rooney wanted at his wedding.
I can't believe I didn't have that at my wedding.
It's good stuff.
That would have been blast.
To me, that makes Wayne Rooney even more of a legend.
It's a song about a wedding reception, and it's called Too Many Sandwiches. That'll just tell you about life in rural Wales. 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talk and Text line. What song should be banned from wedding receptions? Sarah texted in, this is just a funny story. My ex worked for a radio station years ago. His coworker did a wedding reception and was told very clearly, do not play Monet Monet. I don't know if that's the Billy Idol version or a different. I'm assuming it's Billy.
It is, yeah.
But he did it anyway because somebody at the reception requested it.
Yeah.
The bride and her mother were at the front door of the radio station at 8 a.m. Monday morning, and they were livid. They wanted their money back.
Wow.
What's the problem with Moni Moni?
Do you guys, do you know what the problem is with Moni?
No, I really don't.
Okay. So there's like secret lyrics that you've never heard on the radio because they are giant FCC violations. It's the hey, mother, bleepers, get bleeped, or get laid, get bleeped. And I am sure the entire reception hall sang that at the top of their lungs, and maybe somebody thought that might ruin their wedding.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Does make sense. That checks out. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm simple, though.
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe, chicken dance. Get rid of those.
Yeah.
Call it good. In fact, somebody else texted in and said, get rid of the chicken dance. Don't have a name attached, but I couldn't agree more.
Scott texted, any song from the vampire chick flick movie series.
Which one is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot
I'm
of them,
assuming
really.
It's Twilight is what we're mainly referencing.
Okay.
A lot of soundtrack songs, a lot of really sappy love songs, emo-y love songs attached to that.
Yeah.
Steve, all right. What you got? What would you ban?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. The last time I went to a wedding reception, it's been a while. I don't even remember some family weddings, and there was always a live band playing. So
that's harder.
Yeah, it's a little harder. And they were doing like, let's see, my niece got married a couple years ago, or like 4 years ago, and at her wedding, they were playing it was just a really good mix. It was like a dance band. It was like just dance music from 70s, 80s, 90s, and on through.
Okay.
So there wasn't really anything I heard that I was like, oh, stop it, I can't take that anymore. But yeah, any line dancing, any group think about anything, really. That's it's like I prescribe to the George Carlin thing. I like people. I like persons. I hate people. Well, anytime you get enough people in a room, they just mess it up. Individually, I'm good. Go out there, dance to your own thing. Don't get me in a line dance. It ain't gonna work.
100%. The group choreography thing is just, it's obnoxious. At the same time, though, I subscribe to the theory of, like, you know what? It's your wedding. Do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like you said, I'm just not going to participate.
Kevin texted, can we ban the Macarena too? Yes.
Ooh,
yes, we can.
Yes. Okay,
yeah.
so
you know
let me share the GOAT answer from our friend Chris Nelson here after 7 o'clock, who is a wedding DJ.
Oh, nice.
I gave him, I'm like, you can do 5 because he has trouble making decisions. So songs that he would ban, he texted me back and said the song that is the number 1 would be the Macarena. I've heard it so many times it haunts me, and I still have to play it. The other ones would be Achy Breaky Heart from Billy Ray Cyrus, probably Beyonce's Single Ladies. I'd also ban Endless Love from Lionel Richie and the Chicken Dance, making grandparents everywhere angry with that last one. It's not that they're bad songs, which they are. I've just heard them too many times.
Yeah, right. Okay. I like the, I forgot all about that Endless Love, man.
I forgot all about Achy Breaky Heart, which is, I think, another group dance, isn't it?
It's got to be.
I don't know if there's a line dance to that or not.
Ugh.
That's bad news.
I guess I'm not as tired of Endless Love as everybody else. I wouldn't mind that one. Like, it's cheesy as hell, but it's good for that day. Like,
no, it's just twist the knife in my back because I didn't end up with Brooke Shields. Here's today's last word. Mm-hmm. It's a question for the two of you. There's one state of the 50 United States. There is only one state that is triple landlocked. What that means is it doesn't touch an ocean. The states it borders don't touch an ocean. And the states bordering those states do not touch an ocean. There's only one that is triple landlocked. Ryder, what is it?
Kansas.
Fletcher?
That's going to be my guess, too. Missouri.
You of all people. Nebraska.
Oh, I was going back between the two of them.
Come on, you used to live there.
God.
That's it. The only triple landlocked state is Nebraska. That's why. Never go there.
Nothing like heading into the weekend feeling like a failure.
I've got a whole thing where I say I have to be within 2 states of an ocean at all times, and that's why, or a border, you know. Anyway, that's all I got.
We got a Great Lake for you.
It's a good state.
That's exactly what we got.
It's Superior.
Let's see. It's Friday, which means next week on this show, Jackie Cashian, who's going to be at Acme, will come by.
Wisconsin's own.
Yeah, hell yeah. That. We got Wallflowers and ZZ Top tickets. We're going to start things off with a Monday morning mixtape. Fletcher, what's coming up right now on KQRS?
So, throughout the week here in Gorman in the Morning, we've given away KQ karaoke passes, karaoke cruise passes, and we've given away Wallflowers ZZ Top tickets.
Yep.
I'm going to do both this midday. How about that?
Nice.
12:30 and 1:30.
Get on it.
Yeah, and then commercial free around 11:45.
Perfect. Fair enough. Have a great weekend, everybody. Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.